What you're viewing here is the MIA Phantom line of racing FPV quadcopters. Most of the smaller sizes were developed from this main one here, which is the original MIA Phantom 250 racing quadcopter done in a Formula 1 style. You'll notice this big one has some prominent features, which is a full frame that encompasses and guards the propellers. So it protects the propellers, the motors, the equipment, and so that is the main and most prominent feature of the MIA Phantom design. The other prominent feature is the bumpers that I decided to include on some of these mid and smaller versions that you see here. Why the bumpers? Because it just makes sense from a crash protection perspective. I don't know why bumpers were not included in the original FPV quadcopters when somebody decided to start the FPV Racing Quadcopter revolution, but it's certainly something that's been on my head for many years. You'll notice that this is nothing new as far as MIA Microflight work is related to quadcopters. If you look at some of our tricopter designs, you'll see that I include also bumpers or guards, for the propellers and protection for the model. So this kind of stemmed also from those designs that I did a while back. Why I have not shown this before is because I've been busy, with the ultralights, microlights, and auto gyros. Some of the other stuff that I have up on my website. Those orders keep coming in addition to the micro helicopter upgrades that I still sell for all the micro helicopter products that are out there. We still get quite a bit of orders for those, so that's been keeping me quite busy, and I just wanted to dedicate some time to discuss this and show what I've been working on. What got me started in doing a Formula 1 style race quadcopter is, number one, I'm of the opinion that if you're going to do a racing flying machine, you might as well make it look really spiffy and make it look like a racing machine. 99% of the FPV racing quadcopters are out there are nothing more than a plate that support the motors, and then everything's stacked up on top like a brick. So I've been calling those the flying bricks. No disrespect to those designs, but they are flying bricks. Basically, you're using a lot of brute power, to bring all that mass into motion. Many of those, don't have any protection for the motors, as MIA Microflight, the Phantom line does. We have full protection for the motors, and even on the ones that don't have sandwich plates, we still have protection for the motors via these bumpers here. This one that you see here on this side does not have the bumpers yet, but it's basically the same as that one here, and this is done all in carbon. These two are the latest ones, and these are done in carbon plates. These right here were done in fiberglass, and you can see also there's one in the back that was done with a skirt, just a bumper skirt all the way around the quadcopter, and that's also another one that I've been kind of wanting to produce in kit form, just because it's a nice little compact design, and you have full protection. Everything's clean and self-contained. There are products out there that are already encompassing a skirt, a protective skirt around the motors, but you still have the cameras and all the equipment that's still exposed. In particular, the antennas. I'll do another video on the specific antennas that I'm using. They're very, very small, very compact, and that's how I've been flying these things. I don't have the typical clover leaves sticking out on any of my quadcopters. As you can see, these have been inspired by Formula 1 race cars, except that these things, of course, are made to fly. My latest designs in the MIA Phantom line are these little guys here. I removed the cover here because the cover simply attaches here via 4 posts. I don't have the posts on this one, but for simplicity, but you can see how this works. And basically, this is this is done in all carbon plate, and this one is the MIA Phantom 172. 172 is actually the distance between this motor and that motor, center line to center line. So that's where the 172 millimeter came into play. Why this odd number? Well, why not? Because of the area that I was requiring to do various types of flight controllers with this particular quadcopter, it just so happens that it came out at 172, and so I just left it at that. These are very compact. The other thing is about MIA Mini Phantom line is that these quadcopters are very compact, and that's done on purpose just to keep the mass way at the center, so it's very reactive. When you keep the mass at the center, and you execute a hard left, right, up, down move, it becomes very reactive when you have that center line, dead center. The more center that the mass of the quad, the more reactive it is. The more far out you have mass, the more stable and the more sluggish it is. So that's the reason why these particular designs in the Mia Phantom line, in the minis and the micros, are very compact. If we take a look at this other one here, this one has the bumpers, and this is an MIA microflight innovation here with the bumper idea. Now, granted that bumpers have been used on cars, on radio control buggies. I remember my RC-10 radio control car had these neat molded bumpers. So because I come from that background, it's also another reason I elected to put bumpers here, because it just makes sense. Granted, you're not running this on ground, but the crashes that you crash with these things against trees, against fences, brick walls, it's there. So it makes perfect sense to put a bumper right in front of it, and that's the reason why I elected to put bumpers here when nobody else has been doing this. 99%, like I said, of the FPV racing quadcopters out there don't have these features. Don't have the protective features that Mia Microflight has embedded in these, and don't have the aesthetic of the typical Formula One race car that I have embedded in the original MIA Phantom 250 design, which is that model right there. And all these other ones that you see here, this is only a portion. I've done dozens of these things, and this is only a portion of the latest work that has evolved from the Mia Racing Phantom Quadcopter, the 250. All these designs are also designed around off-the-shelf components. I don't want to lock myself into making my own components or my own flight controller and just having it be a proprietary thing. I could have done that, but I decided there's so many of the flight controllers out there that you can choose from, and I think people would rather choose a flight controller, their own camera, and kind of customize it to your own liking and to your own flying style. So I wanted to give that flexibility to the end user and just provide the cool looking frames that I have been producing for myself, number one, and because I just don't like the stuff that's out there. I think a lot of the stuff that's out there, it was originally, with the 99% of the flying bricks, they were originally just designed as just a platform, just a basic platform, to pop things on top and make it easier also for the user. Granted that those are also easier in some cases, not all. It is a very unappealing flying brick in my perspective. Look at the vast majority of them via Google search. Just go look at the photographs. You will probably not see the cool stuff that you're seeing in this video. So I just like not only robustness, performance, but I also like the aesthetics built into the quadcopters. And so I have some other ones that have details that I have embedded in some other products that I make for the radio control micro lights, RC ultra lights, etc. And I've done also that for the FPV, some of the FPV quadcopters and tricopters and multicopters that I don't show here. So this is a very small portion, but I wanted to keep this more dedicated and more in reference to the Phantom line, which is what you're looking at right in this video. the way I designed the Phantom original racing quadcopter in a Formula One style, it's very unique to me on microflight. I doubt if you will see, similar work in terms of, the fact that you need arms, to hold the motors. I mean, that's an obvious thing. But as far as the design, the curves, the cut lines, the specific geometry that I'm using on some of these things, that's all me on microflight, originally from ground up. The way I'm using the bumpers, the hardware that I'm using, the way I'm using the hardware in some places. If you have any questions, please post them here. I would like to get your opinions.